Hello and welcome along and welcome back to Charwell. We've got the poplars all cut, apart from a few bits sort of hanging about. So we're going to get this all cleared up, and then we're going to look at what we could get planted next. So we've done pretty well with the poplar bales. We've got, well, quite a few here. I haven't counted them. But they are, it's pretty good actually. We're looking at £250 a bale for these. We need to get these all collected up and put aside the field because this field will regenerate. We're not looking to get these, not looking to plough this up. And I've been umming and erring about that, to be honest. Whether we need to plough all of these up and put something else through. And sort of been playing around with the rotation, as we discussed a couple of videos ago, I think it was. And the interesting thing at the moment that we've got is that Sugarbeet is a really, really versatile crop. So I'm trying to work out exactly how we can do this in the best way. I think we want to get some corn in. I'm still thinking that we can do with corn if we can get it harvested in time. The biggest issue we've got with that is if we get it in, we've got to get it in about now. We don't want to be doing it much later. We want to get some, as I said before, we want to get some sugar beet in. We have some places to do that. And we can, interestingly, and this is where its versatility comes in, we can put it in straight after corn. So we don't need to worry about the leaving a field fallow in order to get the best out of the sugar beet. We can plant corn and then the next season plant sugar beet. Now the problem I have with that is that we need to try and get that into the rotation. And the two crops that are actually causing us the most problem at the moment as far as that is concerned is actually the barley. The barley and the wheat. We seem to need to leave fields fallow after that in order to get the best out of anything else following on for them. So I'm trying to work out at the moment whether there's something we can do with that and whether we can play around with it a little bit. There we go. So if we can do that and not have to leave any fallow between any of our crops, then we're actually in a slightly better position because we're able to manage the rotation better. The alternative is actually to run two similar but slightly different rotations. So we can, because wheat and barley are very similar, because canola and sunflowers are very similar, that gives us immediately two equivalent rotations to run, and because sugar beet and corn are similar, we can do that. So I'm gonna have a look at that in a little bit. We're gonna get these all collected up. Not doing too badly with this. We are £250 for each of these bales is going to be sweet. At the moment it's about 140 pound per bale because the price is diminishing. These should be alright. We're going to be leaving these out at the edge of the field for most of the year until we get into the position to pick them up later. So that should be fine. But first I'm going to get the rest of these cleared up and then we're going to head back to the farm. We're going to look at what we can plant today because I want to get something in the ground. And that way we will be in a much better position as we go further into the year. So grabbing the last two bales now. Just need to discover the easiest way to do this. It's just to sort of double spike them. I don't think we've got any. No, we've got none up there. So yeah, we double spike these. And I think I've worked out what all of these extra bits up here are. When I first started doing this field, I was managing to catch some of the stuff and therefore end up with it down and basically harvested, set to get harvested. So the crop destruction was taking it down. That means that those are bits of crop that were destroyed while I was doing them. So the interesting thing about that means that yeah, they're actually pretty good. We're in a. It means that all of this will regenerate, which is great news. We won't have to replant any of this, as people have been telling me, in all fairness. So yeah, actually quite pleased about that. We are going to end up with a second field of poplars here, and you can see from the growth actually that it shouldn't be. It should be about right for us to harvest this year, which is pretty good. I'll be happy with that. So how many bales do we have here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 bales. So about 41-ish bales, I think, here, judging by the fact that these are basically two of the same length rows with an extra one. So 41, 42 bales here. That's not bad at all. That's really, really good. We will get those collected up probably next winter. They're out of the way at the moment now, and let's this field do. We've got this field regrow. I've got a similar sort of thing to do at our top field because that's been harvested as well. Let's just pull this forward. There we go. But for now, that's good. We are going to head back to our farmyard now. We're going to have a look at our rotation. I think we're actually going to divide this all into 2 rotations now. One which is a wheat rotation, the other that's a barley rotation. Basically means that we'll be able to flip between one and the other and make the most out of it. Should mean we get some extra corn and some extra sugar beet, I think. And we're basically going to use that as the point to flip the rotation because that will be the same across both of them. So let's park this here for the moment. Do giving this a wash, to be honest. Although, yeah, I don't have a pressure washer yet, so we've got to get that sorted in a minute. But first, let's have a look at this. So this is our current rotation, which includes canola, but has lots of fallow in it. What I want to do, I think we want to put barley in here. We'll take it out of here. So drop this to, well, we'll drop sugar beet into here because I don't think, look at that at the moment. Wow. Take the fallow off of here. Take the canola out of here. We've got a lot of sugar beet in this at the moment. So we'll pull this right back. Okay, so after sugar beet, we want to have in here something that does well, and something that does well is canola, sunflowers, and not corn, interestingly enough. So I think we want canola in here. Then we'll have a look here, and I think doing that, we've got oats, cotton, sunflowers, soybeans. Corn does fairly well. Yeah, corn does fairly well out of there. Now, wheat, of course, does not do well after corn. So, what we want to put in here is sunflowers would do okay. Sunflowers pretty much would do okay. Otherwise, we're back to sugar beet at that point. Canola and sunflowers would do alright, but sugar beet is not good after wheat. I've mussed up. Let's take this back. We want something that will do well after wheat. So let's go through our entire thing. Wheat won't, obviously, or barley or oats. Cotton would, but we're not doing cotton. Canola would, sunflowers would, soybeans. So I think what we have to do here is we have to go fallow after the wheat. So we'll go fallow there. Going fallow then means we can put corn in. After that, there we go. Corn we can follow with. Corn we can pretty much follow with most things, but sunflowers and canola do well here. Although so does Sugarbeet. There we go. And after Sugarbeet, following up that with canola or sunflowers works well. And then you can see we get a really good setup. So we go barley. Again, we can go corn after this. Sugarbeet. And finally, canola. There we go. So these are our 2 rotations. We've got corn and Sugarbeet in the middle having the same effect. And then we've got wheat and barley at the top. And it just means that dividing this between, we can switch at any point in it here with this. Now what this does mean, at the moment, we have 2 fields that have been fallow. That we were planning to put barley and Sugarbeet into. But if I look at what we have planted at the moment, we've got canola in here and wheat in here. So between our remaining 4 fields, we can put Sugarbeet. In fact, that would be a really good bet for us. Sugarbeet and corn. So field 42, we're looking at field 42 and 44. We're looking at Sugarbeet. Field 43 and 41, we're looking at corn, which is actually a bit of a gamble at the moment because at the moment putting corn into those 2 will mean that we're that's a huge load of corn that we're going to be harvesting. The alternative is to go barley in here as we'd originally planned, Sugarbeet in 43, and then that means we've got to follow whatever. Well, if we're following whatever we had with corn before, it's Sugarbeet. So Sugarbeet needs to go into those 2. We are going to have to do one of those fields as corn. So today we're going to be planting Sugarbeet because that is what we have available to us. And to do that, we are going to be grabbing our JCB. So let's, not this JCB, I mean. And that might be the first time we've parked this in this shed. We're going to be grabbing this JCB. And we're going to be doing those 2 end fields. The 2 fields that previously were corn, we're going to put Sugarbeet into those. And get ourselves round that. So back into here, and hopefully we have some seeds in this. Otherwise we're going to have to borrow some money. Although I think actually we have seeds down at the shop as well. There we go. Connect that up. We've not got any cables, so that is all good. Yeah, we've got both seeds and fertilizer in here. So let's open this up. Or let's switch this to Sugarbeet, and we'll head down this way and get this. Whoop. Planting field 42 with Sugarbeet, which hadn't been this. So this hadn't been my original plan. We were going to put the Sugarbeet into field. Into field 43, I think it was. Yeah, 43, where we had barley previously. But I think it's wise for us to just sort of move things around a little bit. Hopefully this means that we have 1 field of Sugarbeet and 1 field of corn, as well as having everything else. Now, this has been done at that angle there. We want to get this in the best way we can. And I think the best way for us to do this is going to be It's at a difficult angle, this field. It's not quite at the right angle for us to do this whole setup. And I'm not sure, do we have GPS on this tractor? We do have GPS on this tractor, so that's going to work well for us. I think we should create a line down the middle of the field here to start with then. We'll be on here. We want a snapped terrain angle, because that will only help us doing on this. We want to set our first waypoint. Turn this on, drop it down. And away we go. And then this should give us a pretty straight setup for here. And the maneuverability on this will work well for us. And we can then get around this field pretty well, I think. So there we go. Set that, set the width. And there we are. So now we're getting our field planted with some sugar beet. And this is early enough that the sugar beet should be good. We're not too worried about the sugar beet. As long as we can harvest it before the end of winter, we should be in a good position and do okay. But it's one of those things that we need to plant what we can when we can on here. And as always, the biggest problem, the biggest worry I've got is, when is that rain going to fall? When are we going to find ourselves in a position that we're desperate to get stuff up and can't? And we're ending up planting both our barley and our corn fairly late on here. And this is simply because I'm trying to give the OSR, the all-seed radish, a chance to come. And if we can't do that, it's... yeah. We need those fields to... well, we need one of them definitely to register as fallow before we do it. Before we plant the corn. And I don't know how long it is we have to leave that field as fallow before we do it. Before we get it in. And so, yeah, it's a bit of a... I think we might end up just ploughing or just cultivating in that OSR. So that we can, so that we're in a position that we can actually get the corn planted. We need to do it sooner rather than later. We definitely don't want to be doing it into the summer. It will be way too late for us then. If we can do it on day 4 of spring, that would be great. But I don't think we're quite going to be in a position to be able to do that. Is this going to back straight? Not quite, but well enough. Right, so that is this is going well. This JCB is a really good piece of kit for this. It works well on this. I just want to pop out and have a look at this field. So this field, yeah, previously it says cereal, of course, being the corn that was in here previously. So this being ploughed does not count as fallow, which makes sense if you think about it. But yeah, so there's a fair amount of work that we need to get a field to register as having been fallow, which can be quite difficult. And we're gonna have 2 fields. So field 45, we're gonna have to try and get into that fallow position, and the same goes for field 43, I think it is. Just trying to get them to register in the setup that we need them to. It's actually not as easy as I would have thought. This though is going in very easily, and I'm really actually we're not doing too bad. We're probably about a third, maybe halfway through the field. After very few rows, I think we're probably about a third of the way through the field looking at this, and we've still got a good amount of sugar beet, which is good news for us, because as you can see, we're nearly minus 3,000. It's going to take So we're in this position. We're minus 3,000 because of doing those bales, doing the wood chip bales. We've got to make on the wood chip then a good. Well, how many of those wood chips? It's 4 bales per 1,000. So that's 12 bales that we need to sell in order to make that money back and just get us even. And that's when they're at the height of their value. So yeah, we're going to be fairly poor, and we're going to have to borrow some extra money until the end of the year, because we're going to have to borrow money again to get our harvester, to get any of the harvesters that we need. We've got to borrow money this year. We've also got to we're probably going to have to borrow some money for seed, because we've still got several fields that need reseeding. So yeah, fair amount of work still to do on here this year. So we've run out of seeds. I think we've got some at the shop. So we're going to head back down there, see if we can fill up. It is slightly concerning because, as I said, we're going to have to borrow a whole load of money to get out of here. We may actually have some more pigs. I think next time we'll look at maybe selling some more pigs, seeing if we can afford some more seed and stuff and pay for stuff that way. Because pigs are always... This is the thing. Now we've got the pigs up and running, we're pretty good. We do actually have some seeds and some fertilizer down here on pallets, which is great news. So let's reverse this up and get this refilled. So fill up the fertilizer first, and the seeds after that. And that's still going to leave some seeds here. That's absolutely fantastic news. Very, very pleased with that. Not having to spend money to get more seeds is good. We really should be storing those at our farm though, rather than leaving them at the shop all the time. But that has worked pretty well for us. I'm at that place with this where I really want to get a good set of crops, and we seem to have found a good balance between the sets. So long as we can get good yields, will mean that we can afford everything on here. And as a result, we'll be able to make some money from our crops. Doing more corn is hopefully won't bite us in the butt. I worry about that. With the fun we had with the corn this year, or the first year on here, I'm very worried about planting corn again for a second year, especially in a field as big as Field 41. That that could be a huge loss of crop to do that. Bring this up to this corner. There we go. So yeah, can we get away with that? Can we get away with planting corn? And will we end up with a really wet end of the year again? That means that we just lose it. That we just are completely unable to harvest it. If we yeah, again, we could end up turning off the moisture to do it, but it is a little bit of a thing. I think we'd have to have a grain dryer to do it this year, which means increasing our yard, which means selling stuff, which is yeah, not a position we're in at the moment. We probably need to buy we're going to be in a position soon where we're going to have to buy a trailer, of course. If we don't do that, that is going to harm us. And we kind of want to do that in order to make sure that we're in a place that we're not borrowing a trailer all year. Harvesters, I'm not so worried about hiring. It's proven to be more cost effective for us on this map to hire harvesters than to buy them. Normally I would be, $500,000 in debt with having bought a harvester or you know, and stuff like that. The fact that we're only 200,000 in debt at this point is good, especially as we're looking at having a lot of stuff to sell. So that makes me happier. Alright, we've got this side of the field done. I need to get this to the other side and get that planted. But this is going well. We're in a good place, certainly with these Sugarbeet. And Sugarbeet, while their yield is low, their yield is high, so their value tends to be low. And when are we, if we put this on cruise control, when would we be looking at trying to sell Sugarbeet? So Sugarbeet here, best selling time is early winter, 3rd week of winter. So after we've done all the harvest, we can, almost immediately we can sell Sugarbeet if we're not using it to feed our pigs. So yeah, that would just work absolute wonders on here. And there we go. Turn around and go the other way. Oh, help if I lifted up my cedar. There's apparently a new JCB fast track mod out that I might go and look at, see if it fixes the issues that we've got with this one, where we can't turn off the we can't turn off the all-wheel steering. I still haven't figured out quite why this tractor can't turn off the all-wheel steering. There's nothing, I can see no errors in the mod at all that would prevent it from happening, and it has all of that setup. It just doesn't seem to want to do it at all, which is very, very odd. Right, and there we go, another row. Round and back in for our next row. Down, and then we're going to get the headlands after this, and that will get this done. The other field that we want to get this into is field 44. Not a very big field. I will probably get that done. Probably get that done next time, maybe. We need to work out what we're going to do if we can get the other two fields to germinate. I don't actually need much to grow. I just need to get the oilseed radish to germinate, and then we should get we'll get benefits from it just by it germinating. But it does need to germinate first. Right, and in. There we go, and I think we're just over a whit's worth on that side there. With this, maybe, nope, we're not. So we'll go around the field. We don't need to set the GPS anymore, and yeah, that's good. That is a nice bit of seeding on here. We've got all of the Sugarbeet in on this field, and so as I said, Sugarbeet does well after corn, so we should now get a good yield of Sugarbeet off here. Now what I need to do is pull round the top there like so. We want to redo the very top bit. And then we want to grab this bit as well. There we are. And then out or back onto the edge and get the rest of this headland done. And normally if you go to a whit's worth on the headland, so if you get to a point there on the headland, you're pretty good. We're going to have to come in here. We've got 2 whit's worth here. Just pull that there. That was because this got to be a little bit of an extra bit at the edge of the field, but that's okay. can cover it fairly easily. And lift. And back down. I love the shape of this field. This field is one of the weirder shaped fields on here. And it just means that we are... it just makes it that little bit more challenging to get around. I think we must have double clicked the lower raise there. Right, let's try that again. There we go. Yeah. So I really like the shape of this field. It's the kinks and the cut-ins to it and everything like that just make it a really interesting field to try and seed in a way that is in a really efficient way, because there's no obvious way to do it most of the time, especially when it's not quite on the right angles for doing the with the terrain angle stuff. It just again makes it that little bit more challenging. So this is the end where we actually want to end up, to be honest. So I'm going to do this here. We'll close the gate as we go past. You can see the next angle is well off the side of the field, the shape of the side of the field. So there's no easy way of getting this field to plant along its edge. The edge here is 300 degrees. It's not matching the terrain angle on here at all. So you end up having to do it not along this edge here, which is where I would really like to. Down. But having to do it along the other bit. And sort of a little bit not along the edge. But that has got this field seeded, which is really good news. And we've got our first Sugarbeet in here. We are now officially doing Sugarbeet on Charwell, which is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I think it will work well for us, especially if we find the corn harvest fails. It's going to be a good backup, because this we can harvest in wetter conditions than the corn, obviously. Right, so finish that off, fold it up, and next time I will go and get our other field done. For now, though, that is where we're going to finish this for today. So we've got a fair amount done. I'm pretty happy with this. We've got it up against us at the moment, but we'll see where we come out. For now, though, all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos and live streams from Virtual Farmer, please subscribe to the channel and ring that bell. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.